to episode 6 of the Backstage Knits podcast. My name is Catherine, and you can find me on Ravelry as BackstageKatKnits. And there's also a Ravelry group for this podcast, which you can find by searching Backstage Knits Podcast. All the show notes for this podcast will be on my Tumblr blog, which is backstageknits.tumblr.com. You can also find me on Instagram and Twitter and Periscope, although I don't think I'm ever going to Periscope anything, as BackstageKat. Today is Saturday, September 19th. I would like to apologize for the color, because it's a little bit gray outside today, and it's still a little early in the morning. We're starting to get into fall now, so it's not, as bright as early, and it looks like it maybe rained overnight. So it's a little bit gray. The color might be a little bit funky today, but we'll see how it goes. And also the noise. It's probably not too bad right now, but earlier they were, carving up the sidewalk right outside my window. I'm not really sure why. They're clearly not city workers, because it's a Saturday. I don't really know what's happening. So, apologize if there's some noise. I'll try to keep it to a minimum and maybe stop it if it gets really bad. So, let's dive right in. You may recognize the thing around my neck as a finished object. This is the Sunray Shawl by Mina Phillip. And I finished it actually almost a full week ago. I finished it almost 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. I finished it on Labor Day. So I talked about it in my last podcast how I wasn't sure if I was going to finish it. Mina was running a knit along, and it was set to end that Monday, Labor Day, and on Sunday I had about, probably 12 rows to go, middle of the day Sunday, or no, I had more than that in my last podcast, which I did early Sunday morning, or no. I don't know. I don't remember. Early Monday, I don't remember. But anyway, I finished it. I was watching Mina's podcast, and she's like, oh, I'll leave it open all day Monday. Excuse me. So I was able to finish it at about 4 o'clock on Monday and enter it into the knit-along contest giveaway prize thing, which I didn't win, but it was still nice to get it to finish. And I love how it came out. You may be able to see I made some mistakes in the lacy section, so there's some weird things happening. But I made this with 2 yarns, obviously. The top is Madeline Tosh Twist Light in the Daffodil colorway. And the bottom lace section is in Dream in Color Smushy, in the Amber Glass colorway. And I really like that I did that. The lace section is bigger than I thought it would be. I made the big version of this shawl because I had the 2 skeins. I would have liked a little bit more of the variegated, but I also like having the lace in one color. The other thing with this is that the Dream in Color, so the Madeline Tosh Twist Light is 75% merino, 25% nylon, and the Dream in Color is 100% merino. So it's a little bit less stretchy, which I kind of like with the lace. I think it kind of defines the lace a little bit more. It doesn't smoosh around as much. So I used, I think, something like, it was actually funny, it was exactly the inverse. So I think I used 39 grams of the Madeline Tosh, and 61 grams of the Smooshy. So that's, 200, no, 69. 31, 69, 39, 61? I don't remember. Something like that. I should have written it down, but I didn't. So I think I'll have enough to do a pair of socks with this as the main body of the sock and a contrast heel and toe. Maybe cuff also, if I don't do Rose City Rollers, with this at some point in my life. Not right now, because I have other sock plans. So there's that. I knit this on US 5, 3.75 millimeters. And like I said, it came out really well. I am still a really tight knitter, so I was looking at the pictures that Mina had, and hers, hung off her wingspan, and mine's just about my wingspan. And again, I think hers was the small size, mine was the large size. So I should probably work on being less of a tight knitter. Maybe if I learn continental knitting, that will solve itself. Yeah, I'm a very tight knitter. But I like it a lot. I'm not going to put it back on because it's still a little bit warm, so I don't want to be dying of heat, and you'll see me sweat during the podcast. No one needs that. That's my one finished object. Excuse me while I take a sip of my tea. Today I am drinking Yogi Vanilla Spice Perfect Energy Tea. It's really good. It's like, it almost tastes like caramel a little bit. So it's got green tea, black tea, flavoring and stuff. It's good. Alright, works in progress. I have got a lot. First of all, I do have sort of a half object, and this is something, this is my second pair of Rose City roller socks. So I finished one sock, and I am just turned the heel. I haven't even picked up the stitches on sock 2. So, heel. Did this last night at knitting club, which was just me and my best friend. Yeah. So coming along well. My yarn decided it would, excuse me, completely implode. So I have this nonsense that I'm trying to work with right now. Oh gosh, that's a total hot mess. These yarns are, the brown is Knit Pick Stroll in the cork colorway, and the speckled is Plymouth Yarns Happy Feet Splash. Hand-dyed Splash, something like that. It's a very long name. This is the autumn colorway. So you can see the speckles. And I'm knitting this on US 1. I heard someone call it boil. I don't think there's an L in that word, but I don't know. Boil, something. US 1, 2mm. And yeah, I do 72 stitches around. So there's that. This one fits well. Unblocked as of yet, but I'll block them together. I don't have sock blockers, so it's easier for me to do them together. That way I can have a pair of socks to wear. I did wear my socks out in public kind of for the first time. So I had worn my first pair of Rose City rollers. I had bought them to camp because we were in a winterized cabin, and it was nice just to have a pair to like have on your feet in the cabin and not the ones that you had been wearing all day and sweating in as you chased 27, 12, 14-year-olds around. So I wore those in public, but then we had a work off-site meeting at my boss's house earlier this week, and she just got a new house, and she got the floors redone, and they were trying to like, they're hardwood floors, and she's trying to keep them really nice. So she asked everybody to like be prepared to take off their shoes, and so I was like, well, I'll bring my knitted socks. So there's a picture of all of us on the team that we actually sent to people in India, because we like to share our team pictures and kind of team spirit with the folks who are within India. And so you can see my socks, my Celtic rainbow socks, in the team picture, which is awesome. So those are those. The other project that I'm working on is the Summertide Shawl Mystery Knit-Along, designed by Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade. So this is released in 4 weeks of clues. The first one was released last week. The second one came out Thursday. I have not worked on the second clue at all. But this is the first clue. So it's going to be a crescent-shaped shawl. This is going to be my first time doing a crescent-shaped shawl. Excuse me. And I like the construction of it, but it grows so quickly. Like 5 rows in, I was already at 100, not 5. I mean, this is an exaggeration, but this is almost 200 stitches, or it is 200 stitches. Maybe it's 180 something, and this is only like 60 rows. So it grew really, really quickly, and I was like, whoa, this is going to be a big shawl that keeps growing at this rate with a lot of knitting and purling. So I took a look at the week 2 pattern, and it's a lot more complicated. Obviously, this is just garter stitch with the only complicated thing here was remembering whether you are on the right side or the wrong side, in order to figure out what you needed to do at the end. But yeah, it's coming along. Oh, what am I knitting this out of? Gosh, I forgot to say that. So I'm knitting this out of 2 colors of Madeline Tosh Merino Light. Is that it? The single ply yarn that everybody loves. This was the, whoops, that's not yarn. This was the one of a kind colorway I got out of a Webb's grab bag earlier this summer. I feel like I've seen pictures and it's attempting to be another colorway that they make, but I don't remember what it is. I saw it at one point. I was like, oh, that's probably what mine was meant to be, and somehow it came out wrong. And then I bought online begonia leaf. Like together. A lot of people seem to be doing this kind of pink and gray, purple and gray, but I really like these colors together. I had originally wanted to do another one of a kind colorway I got from that same grab bag. I think I showed it in my last podcast, maybe, or 2 podcasts ago. It was blue with like purples and greens and very variegated. Sorry, what's happening? But I bought this to go with it, and they looked good together. But I was looking over some of the posts, and it was saying like, it's kind of lacy, and so you might not want too variegated of a yarn. So I decided to just go with this gray. Why is there? What? There's like heavy machinery happening here, and don't know what's going on. Okay, so there's that. And I'm knitting this on Carbons, my interchangeable carbon set US 6 4mm. Last podcast, I talked pretty excitedly about my first sweater, and I started my first sweater. Don't have a whole lot to show for 2 weeks of knitting. I'm knitting this in Valley Yarns Northampton, which is 100% wool, worsted weight, in the dark green heather colorway. And so what you did is you did a provisional cast on, and you knitted, I want to show you this. You knitted this section and then did some short rows. So successfully executed short rows, I guess. And then you started picking up this. I have this bump here. I don't know if I did it. I mean, I know that I picked up the provisional cast on right because I had stitches on my needle, but obviously I have this little thing. I'm not stressing out about this though because I believe this is the back of the neck, like over here. So it's not really important to me that this is straight garter. I don't mind this little seam is here. I'm just not sure now if I'm gonna be right. Because it was weird, like you may leave these on the needle and with the right, I'm not sure if I picked it up on the correct side. So I kind of was like, I don't really want to spend a lot of time and effort on this anymore because of other exciting fiber related arts. No, noises, which I'll talk about in a bit. So, I think the knit along goes until the 31st maybe, and you can knit any sort of December. So may or may not do this a lot. I'm thinking I picked a weird choice for my first sweater. But now I have all this yarn, which because the sweater's, I don't have the pattern on my tablet, the sweater has like it's all garter stitch here, and then most of the sweater, the sleeves and the back, are all like a lattice section, which I thought would make it go quicker, and I'm probably right in that. But I think it also uses less yarn, so now I don't know if I'd have enough to make a sweater out of the yarn I have if I didn't want to make this sweater. Does that make sense? But I mean, obviously I don't think this is a rare colorway, so I could buy more of this if I wanted to. But we'll see. I'll keep working on it a little bit. But it was not my main project for the past 2 weeks. Okay. And then something I wanted to show was my last Yarnbox Classics subscription. My last one ever. No. I moved from Yarnbox Classics to Yarnbox Socks. and I got this Verdant Griffin Clown Spikes Orchid is the colorway, Bugga is the yarn. And this was calling to me to be a shawl, but I wasn't really finding anything, and I don't know. This week, I decided I was going to design my own shawl. So this is the early beginnings of an original shawl design, and I'm designing my own shawl to be something that can kind of keep using as much yarn as you can use. Really annoying. I'm sorry about the beeping, but I don't want to stop because I'm going to fall down. Sorry. Like, I liked The Hitchhiker, and I started the Calla by Gabriella Henry. Sorry. But I didn't want to knit those again, and so I just started my own. So it's going to be like a series of alternating a 20, 40 row pattern, especially. So essentially, so it's like on the side. So it's going to be on the bias, like the Hitchhiker or the Calla. And so the side that you're going to grow on is going to be a series of a 4 row repeat pattern 5 times. So this is like an alternating stockinette and garter kind of bump pattern. I wanted something kind of textured and floppy. And then it's going to be a lattice section because I like lattice and I think it looks awesome in shawls. So those are going to alternate 20 rows, so 5 repeats of each of the pattern. And then on the other side is a lace edging I found online, which is a 10 row repeat. So that'll alternate twice, and this will alternate, or that'll repeat twice, this will repeat 5 times, and then you keep alternating this 10 row repeat lace border. So I think maybe it will work. This is 10 rows into it. And as you can see, I'm kind of scribbling things down in my notebook here. And I like having everything written down. So, my charts. And I am writing it down, at least initially. But the good news is it's going to repeat the instructions will just be repeat the first 40 rows ad infinitum. So it will not take up too much of my notebook. This is my knitting notebook. I put all my podcast show notes in here, so you can see. Here are today's notes. And my pattern design for this, and then I have an earlier shawl design, which is hibernating, because I don't think I'm going to make it, I was trying to be complicated, and I don't think I'm going to like that. But, if I was ever to write down a pattern, I'd write it down in here. I want to take it with me to Knitting Group, which I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to promise to do that. I mention it every time. I've never actually talked about it. I don't think. Did I talk about it last week? Maybe I did. Shoot. Well, we'll see. Okay, so there's a lot of those. Those are my works in progress. I actually have 2 more. Actually, 3 more. You got the Doctor Who scarf that's sitting dormant. Sorry, Brian. The Waves Gone By, which I did make some progress on, but it still looks very similar to what you saw last time. And something else. Oh, the Sanpo hat, which I haven't done anything on. I did actually so I had done I think I said it was 2.5 rows of the pattern. It was actually 2 1/4. And I did the other 3/4, and I wasn't looking at the pattern because for some reason I was like, I have this row memorized. And then I got to the last one, I'm like, I don't have it memorized. I did these past 2 ones wrong, so I'm going to think back. Oh well. I told my friend, I was like, maybe you're getting socks for your birthday instead of that hat, because, yeah, stranded color work. Yeah. So, that's knitting. You will remember, if you watched my last podcast, that I had plans to go take a spinning class, and I was supposed to do that 2 weeks ago, and the instructor got mixed up, and so we ended up not having it 2 weeks ago, but we had it last week. So there was my screen cap from last week was me holding a spindle going like, but now that's not even the first thing I spun. So in the class, we learned, it was really cool. We walked in and there was on the table so much fiber. Like more fiber than I've ever seen in one place in my life because I've never been to yarn festivals. But she had all these different kinds of like alpaca, and all the different varieties of wool, and just it was awesome and like different colors, and it was really cool. And so we kind of went through like what the different kinds of fibers and kind of walked through like staple length and what that means and what like crimp and twist are. And then we sort of kind of showed a couple of different spindles, and we kind of talked about like what different spindle types are. Like we're using drop spindles, and this was the purpose of the class. But she kind of showed a Turkish spindle and like a top whirl versus a bottom whirl. So it was really cool. And then we tried spinning. So this was my first attempt, and I actually, because there's not much singles here, I actually wound this onto my umbrella swift, so the bad part would be at the bottom when I wound it onto my toilet paper roll. So you can see it's very, very thick and thin, and like there's some really tiny spots, and those are probably what the instructor did. So, and it's kind of like 18 different fibers because it was just practicing. So I just like keeping that because it's like, this is my first ever attempt at spinning, and anything in here that's good is probably not me. Towards the end, I sort of got a little bit better. As you can see, that's much thinner. And then, so we had, as part of like the materials pack, we got a spindle and we got a full braid of fiber, which I'll show you in a sec. But she kind of had given us some of the fiber that she bought, because she had bought a braid of the same stuff that we were going to have, just to make sure that she could spin on the spindles that we were purchasing, just so like if there's anything funky or like any unique challenges. So she had a whole braid, which she kind of divided up amongst three of us after she did her, she didn't use much for her test. So, and then I spun all of the colors of what she gave me. Come on, focus. You're usually so good at this. So this one I did not wind onto my umbrella swift. So the front part here is kind of the bad part, but I am getting a little bit better with spinning. And then she gave us this natural color Romney roving. So I've still got a good chunk of it left. But I have spun a good chunk of it already. And you can see I am getting a little bit better. I really like spinning. It's not a problem, it's awesome. It's another hobby that costs money. But what I like about it is that it's mindless in a way that knitting sometimes is not. Sometimes I really like that about knitting, about how you have to follow a pattern, and like it's kind of like mentally stimulating to be like, what stitch am I on? What am I doing? But sometimes it's really nice to just have an activity where you're like not having to think. And knitting is like that. Like socks are just like a straight scarf, but there's always like a what row am I on? When do I stop? There's something kind of like in the back of your mind always when you're knitting. At least for me, the projects I consider like mindless knitting, still I have to think about. Like I'm doing the Doctor Who scarf. I'm not even going to show it to you because I'm like this much in out of 12 feet of scarf. But like you have to remember to slip the last stitch. And I keep forgetting to do that. And like it doesn't really matter, but you still always have to think, or like on that one you have to think, okay, how many rows am I at? When do I need to switch to the next color? This is the same motion over and over again, and you do it until you run out of fiber. So this is a great, I like watching football. So this was my Sunday activity when I got home from spinning class. I just watched football for the rest of the afternoon and spun. So yeah, I'm going back tomorrow for part 2 of the class, where we will learn how to ply. So I'm hoping that with this little yarn that I will ply out of this, and I recognize it's not going to be much when you divide this in half, but I'm hoping maybe, perhaps, I'll have enough to make a bird of happiness out of this and actually make something with the first fiber I ever spun. It may be too thick and thin to do that, so we'll see. But this definitely will have a lot. Like I said, I'm getting better, I think, more consistent at spinning. I'm having trouble drafting. I'm not very good at drafting. I'm putting twist into the drafting yarn, which I've learned you're not supposed to do. And I'm also having a hard time like getting it thin enough because it really worries me when you pull it that thin. And I'm like, it's not so much, well, it is a problem with this, but I can sort of show you what I'm doing. Like, as I'm drafting it, I'm not really getting the full complement, and so I'm kind of like, I end up with like this huge bunch of yarn at the back, and then I have to like bring it forward, or not yarn, fiber. But I'm sure that will come in time. I'm really enjoying it. I meant to say this last week, but there are two people to thank for my spinning diving in. The first one is Andy from Andre Sue Knits, because I think my first podcast I ever watched of her was the one where she got her spinning wheel. And I've gone back and kind of watched some of her previous ones, and like the way she talks about spinning just made it sound kind of terrifying because she was like throwing out all these terms, but also like really fun. Like you can tell she like is really into wanting to spin really well, and exploring different techniques and different fibers, and it just, she got so excited about it that it made me really want to try it. And then the other person is Carlin. I don't know if she has a Ravelry. She probably does. Maybe I'll find her and magic link her. If you're watching, hi Carlin. Carlin went to my college. I don't think we were ever in college yet. I think she graduated a year before I came in, but met her sort of through my sorority, and friends with her on Facebook, and so my Facebook told me she got an Instagram a while back, and I like clicked on it, and it was all knitting things. I was like, hey, I knit, that's awesome. And so she did the Tour de Fleece this year, and a lot of people on my Instagram feed did that, but she posted like every day of like her progress, and it was just like, that is so cool. Like spinning is pretty neat. And she actually wrote on my my first Instagram post when I posted like a picture of my spindle and was like, "Took a drop spinning class today. I'm not very good at it yet." She's like, "Woo, spinning!" So thank you, Carlin. You and Andy are the two people who got me into spinning. Yay, spinning! So I do have some spinning related acquisitions. Like I said, when you got the class, if you needed a spindle, you got a materials pack, which was this basic drop spindle, and a braid of fiber from the store. And so I got this maroon color. It's kind of, falling off. Apparently, there's multiple bits of fiber in here. So this is just a merino top. Nothing too special, but that's the big braid. And then, I did this in the wrong order. That was perfect. Okay, so then I went online, and I found this Etsy shop called Wintry Flower by Design. Etsy.com. There we go. And she has these fiber sampler packs, which are really great. So first of all, it came in this adorable packaging, which I love. Oops, don't want to show you my address, which I love. But it has 3 braids. Oh boy. 3 braids. And 3 little fiber samples. So I'll do these first. So, it was just really cool because I didn't realize like that was in the listing, and it's just really cool. Like, this is not much yarn or fiber. I gotta used to start saying fiber. This is not much fiber, but it's really cool to just get a feeling of like what it looks like and what you could, you could spin this. You won't get much yarn out of it or much singles out of it, but you could just like see what it was like. Like, so this is Gotland, and it's really kind of hairy. Blue. This is Cheviot. Purple and gold. So, like, I'm guessing these are just like random ends from other fibers she's dyed. But it's really cool to try to get a feel for what different yarns are like and the staple length, and if you like something or not. And then merino silk, which is incredibly soft. I also like how, and you'll see this too when I show you the actual like braid tags. I like how she matched the tags to the colors. I don't know if she did that on purpose, but I'm choosing to believe she did because I like it. So, like I said, 3 braids. The first one is Corriedale, which is like black with a few white, kind of gray, bluey flecks in there. And I love this. She like, how many grams is it? And I'm obsessed with these braids. Like, this is a really nice braid. I'm kind of jealous of it. So Corriedale, and then I have BFL, light pinks and yellows, and then merino, 19 micron merino. I don't know how that may or may not be different than regular merino. It feels maybe a little bit softer than that maroon yarn I had up. So yeah, I will probably just spin these for the sake of spinning them. Maybe make little birds and stuff. So yeah, fiber, man. And I do have one other fiber acquisition, but it's not here yet, so I'll show it to you on my next podcast because it's exciting. I do have like one other acquisition. It's not much. It's nice too. So when I went to go buy this begonia leaf, I was like, well, I might as well buy more yarn. So I got it from Webs, and I bought it online. Saved myself a 40-minute drive. So they were having a closeout sale on some Cascade Heritage Prints discontinued colorways. So you can't buy these in the store anymore, sorry. But you might be able to buy them still on Web. But there was like over 100 skeins when I bought these a week and a half ago. So I got this red, yellow, blue, and blue, purple. So these are probably destined to become socks. I really need to get faster at making socks because I have so much sock yarn. Alright, I think that's it. 35 minutes, that's about where I've been for the rest of the time, the rest of the podcast. I'm consistent, at least. I don't really have much to talk about from a theater perspective. It's really cool that Hartford Stage is kind of going through a renovation. So they're have a really nice lobby now, and I might go try to see their show. I thought it was sold out, but I guess maybe that's their next show with Kevin Bacon in it, which is why it's sold out. Because there's an actual famous person here. But the show that is playing there now is called An Opening in Time. I think it's an original play. I don't know a whole lot about it, except that I follow Hartford Stage on Instagram, and they keep posting about, like, this is a town, this play takes place in a town like Wethersfield. And I grew up in Wethersfield. I lived there until about 2 years ago. No, a year. I don't know. Lived there until I moved into my apartment, which was a year and a half ago. So yeah, that's kind of cool to see someone's perspective. I don't think it's about Wethersfield, but I think the author might be from Wethersfield, so it's inspired by Wethersfield. Yeah, I'd go see that. We'll see. Life is good otherwise. Work has been crazy these past 2 weeks, which is the other reason I haven't done a whole lot of knitting, because like I said, spinning is kind of that one motion, and I've just been so brain dead. after work, especially last week. This week wasn't bad, but last week was like crazy. And yeah, I'm studying for my CPCU, test number 5, in the end of October. I'm actually getting a head start on studying for that, which hopefully will be good. Means I pass it the first time. And yeah, I think today I'm going to take a walk actually to downtown Hartford. It's about a 2-mile walk. But it looks like it's going to be a nice day outside. It's still a little bit cloudy, but it should be a good temperature. They're having this thing called Envision Fest. It's like kind of celebrating Hartford a little bit. And the Wadsworth Athenaeum, which is the oldest art museum in the country, went through this huge, I think, maybe, something like that. Went through this huge renovation. And they like redid a whole lot of their galleries and stuff. So they're having their grand reopening today. So there's some like music and stuff happening down there. So I think I'll go take a walk down there, and see the Wandsworth because I haven't been to the Wandsworth in a while. Yeah, I think that's it. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Have a great weekend. I hope you all are enjoying knitting things for fall. I'm so excited it's going to be fall. I've been wearing my shawls. I'm like, I will force it to be fall by wearing a shawl to work. I don't care if it's 90 degrees outside. Shawls! So yeah, I know fall and winter are awesome time for those of us who like making hand knit things. I said I was going to talk about knitting group. I'm going to do it. I have my knitting group through meetup.com. As I'm saying this, I think I talked about this last week. But I found it through meetup.com. And it's really awesome. It meets Friday nights at a local coffee store. And I really like the people who have been hanging out there. It was funny, though, this week. The person who's kind of in charge wasn't able to go. And 2 people who had been there the past 3 weeks weren't able to go. I'm like, well, I'll be there. Leave the meetup group on if other people want to come. Me and my friend are planning to go to dinner. And go to knitting group, so we'll be there, like, you can still leave it, but no one else came, so it was just me and my best friend, which I kind of feel bad about, because she lives a little bit farther away, and I dragged her out to Glastonbury to do knitting group with just me, but we went out to dinner beforehand at Rico's, which was really good. So yeah, knitting group is awesome. Definitely look on meetup.com, in your area if you don't have a knitting group, or start one if you would like, because it's really cool. I was a little bit hesitant to try meetup.com. Like, my mom pushed it on me for like a year. She's like, try meetup.com. Have you tried it? Have you tried it yet? I'm like, no, Mom. Like, I don't know. And finally I was like, I really should have things to do with my life. So I went on, and I found this knitting group. I went to another group, but it met at someone's house, and it was a little bit weird. Like, that was nice of her to have people in her house, and the people there were really nice, but I felt kind of uncomfortable just like being like, hi, I'm at your house and I've never met you before to knit with you. So yeah. Alright, well, I think that's it. Yeah. Alright, well, have a great day, everybody. I hope that wherever you are, you're having an awesome day, and happy knitting. I will see you next time.